rescue Israel from the Midianites. Other versions say, go in this thy might. I am sending you. Then Gideon now replies, but Lord, how can I rescue Israel? My clan is the weakest in the whole tribe of Manasseh, and I am the least in my entire family. Other versions say, I am the least important in my family. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a time that the people of Israel were in bondage and oppression. The Midianites had suppressed them for 7 years. Anytime they planted and it was time for harvest, the Midianites would raid their camp and take all their harvest, destroy their crops, destroy their animals. And so people lived in fear. The Bible says that the times were so tough that the Bible actually puts it this way. It says, and the Midianites impoverished the Israelites. In other words, Israel became poor because of the Midianites. We are living in a time where there are difficulties and challenges, and I am sure people are wondering, will great people emerge? I want you to know that God raises people in spite of what happens around us. Gideon, around this time, was threshing wheat in the wine press in the night, in an enclosed place, because of the fear of the Midianites. If they heard that somebody was working or somebody wanted to get their daily bread, they would come out, ransack their camp, and take their food away and just terrorize them. So Gideon stole his way by night and went to the wine press to thresh a little bit of wheat. Peradventure, he might get some money or he might get food for his family. Whilst he was doing that, the angel of the Lord appeared to him and brings a message from God. Now, anytime God's people are in captivity or whenever somebody is going through a problem of a sort in life, God will always come through with deliverance. Now, those who God used to bring deliverance are the ones that I call great people. Why? Because as you are there is a problem in your family. There's a problem in your school. There's a problem around you that God wants you to be a solution to. And that is where your greatness will come out of. So God comes to Gideon and says, you are a mighty man. You are a hero. Gideon says, are you talking to me? Please, I'm not sure you are talking to the right person. Why would Gideon say this? And why would a lot of us think that there is any greatness in our lives? Number one, Gideon said that because of his personal limitations. Number two, because of his family limitations. And number three, because of the adversity that he was facing in those times. Personal limitations. Now, what do we mean by personal limitations? Personal limitations are essentially the challenges that we find within ourselves that make us feel unable or incapable of achieving anything in life. Gideon says, I'm fearful. I'm a coward. I am not a mighty man. Ladies and gentlemen, many of us also have challenges, weaknesses, fears, sins, setbacks that make us feel unworthy to be used by God or unworthy to become anything great. Imagine, there are people who have decided that they will never become scientists or they'll become doctors because they have a challenge in a certain subject which is required for them to be able to become scientists or doctors or function in the area that they believe that God is calling them to. Those who are afraid of mathematics, for example, would say, well, I don't think I want to be a computer engineer. I don't want to be a doctor. Because they feel that they are weak in math, which is a requirement for making it in the sciences. Gideon's challenge was fear. Gideon had doubts. Gideon felt unimportant. He says, I am the least in my family. Ladies and gentlemen, being least in your family, having personal weaknesses, having doubts about your own achievements, not being strong in a subject or at a subject at any point in your life does not stop God from using you. Gideon says, I am a fearful person. God says, no, you are not fearful. You are a mighty man. You are a hero. You see, when God looks at you, he doesn't look at your weaknesses. God looks at the strength that he has invested in you because of what he has prepared you for, because of what he has called you for, which is your greatness and your purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, young people, I want to let you know that wherever you find yourself, no matter the circumstances, your race, your gender, your background, your feelings about yourself, God still cares about you and has a plan for you, and you're ordained for greatness. Family limitations. Gideon says, my clan is the least in Manasseh. He looked at his background and he felt like no great person has come from where I was born. As a matter of fact, we are the least. My clan, my family is the least. And his father was the youngest. His father Joash was the youngest in their clan. But for some reason, when God was looking for somebody to deliver Israel from the Midianites, God was going into the house of Joash. God was going into the least clan in Manasseh. I see God coming into your family. And God is raising you as a mighty person. You'll be that parliamentarian that we've been prophesying about. You'll be that doctor that we've been prophesying about. You'll be that lawyer that we've been prophesying about. You'll be that great person, that great preacher that will bring hope to many. Because when God is looking for people, God even bypasses the limitations in their family. Your family may have unimpressive records. Nobody great has come out of your family. Nobody great has come out of your life. I remember one day, Philip introduced Jesus to Nathanael, and Nathanael said, will anything good come out of Nazareth? That's how people think, and sometimes that's how we also feel about ourselves. Our background, we are saying our background does not qualify us for what God has in store for us. I want you to change your mind. In spite of where you are coming from, in spite of who you are, God still cares about you. God knows you by name, and He's picking you out of your challenges. He's picking you out of your background to make you a showcase to the rest of the world. Adverse moments, difficult times. Gideon found himself at a time where the Midianites, like I said, were oppressing the people of Israel. The times were so tough that Gideon says he's not sure that God is with them. When the angel came and said, God is with you, Gideon said, if God was indeed with us, why is all this happening to us? Why are we going through such poverty? Why are we going through such pain? Why are we suffering and why are we afraid because of a virus? Because if God is indeed with us, why would a virus be taking lives? You know, in this world, I've heard most people say, well, we don't believe in God because God is not around. If God was around, why are we going through such pain? It was the same thing Gideon was saying. See, you may not believe in God, but God believes in you. Hey, your adverse circumstances and the challenges you are going through, the pain you are going through, is only preparing you for what God is about to do with you. You are about to rise from level to level, from stage to stage. You are about to bring honor to your nation. You are about to bring honor to your family. You are about to bring honor to that school, because God knows you and you cannot be stopped no matter what you are going through. If God was with me, Gideon says, why is all this happening to me? If God is with me indeed, why did I fail my math exam? If God is with me, why have I sat this exam several times and not succeeded? You know what? I cannot explain to you why you are going through that pain. But one thing I know is that when you are going through adverse moments, difficult times and challenges, God will come to you and show you His strength and His power and His grace, and to lift you eventually out of that problem into the glory that He has prepared for you. If you believe, shout, I believe. God comes at a time when Israel were at their lowest. When you are at your lowest, know that God is closest. When you are at your lowest, know that God is about to send you help. May God send you help. May God send you money. May God send you food. May God send you clothes. May God give you scholarship wherever you find yourself. I remember Apostle General telling his story, how he managed to get into secondary school. He went to his father, who at that time was not a rich person. They were facing difficulties. It was a polygamous home where there were over 20 children with different mothers, and everybody was vying for love and attention. Life was really difficult for the family, and of course for the young boy, Sam Crunchy Ankra. He went to his father and said, Daddy, I want to go to secondary school. The dad says, well, in this family, nobody goes to university, family limitation. But I believe the father, if he had the resources, would not have said, nobody goes to university in this family. It was purely because they were going through adverse times. He loved his son, and I believe he would have loved to send him to the best of schools, to give him the best in life. But because of hardship, I believe. That notwithstanding, God sent help. One day, the apostle general was in his room praying and trusting God to bring him help so that he could go to secondary school. Somebody knocked on the door and says, your name is on the list of a certain senior high school. You are being offered scholarship to study. Today, by the grace of God, he has become the apostle general who is leading so many people to the Lord, who is a philanthropist, who is a good man, who is supporting his family, who is an icon in this nation, a hero. I want you to know that you have been chosen for greatness, and whatever you are going through cannot stop your greatness. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 32. Talking about the heroes in the Bible. After mentioning so many heroes, the author says, and what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah and also David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, worked righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, and escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong and became valiant in battle, turned to flight the armies of aliens. The author says, time will fail me to tell of Gideon. He's talking about the great people in the Bible. He mentions David, he mentions Samuel, and then he mentions Barak. All these people are great people. Samson was the strongest man that ever lived. And Gideon is mentioned when those great people are mentioned. The person that said he was weak, he was put on the same platform. I see you sitting on the same platform with great people. It doesn't matter where you are coming from. I see you become the UN Secretary General, somebody watching me. You are going to sit on the platform with great people. But this is what interests me, and I end. It said, for time will fail me to tell of Gideon. Listen, if I want to tell you about greatness and so many great people, time will fail me. Even Gideon alone, time would fail me. You see, the author was writing, the Bible is not a journal of people's lives that spoke about everything they did each time of their lives. Gideon, for example, was judged over Israel for 40 years, but we are not told his 40-year life. Why? Because the Bible just gave us what is important to encourage us so that we will move in this life. He says, time will fail me to tell of Gideon. He says, I cannot summarize the exploits of Gideon. You are about to become so great that there will not be enough paper to write about you. You are about to become so great that books will be written. People will talk about you. People will say you are the best person that ever showed up in their lives and the best person that showed up in your generation. You are chosen for greatness. God bless you.
Lord, you are worthy, and no one can worship you for me. For all the things you've done for me, and no one can worship you for me. Lift it up. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Receive my worship, all of my worship. Here's my worship, all of my worship. Father, receive my worship, all of my worship. You are worthy, and no one can worship you for all the things I will not be silent. I will always worship you. As long as I am breathing, I saying I will not be silent. Say I will always worship you. Say as long as I am breathing. Say I will
surely there comes to an end. There comes to an end of misery. Surely misery comes to an end. One day poverty will come to an end. One day your singleness will come to an end. One day your struggles will come to an end. Surely, surely, surely there is an end. But there is something that brings poverty to an end. Your expectation. There's some of the expectations are different. There's some of the expectations are different. There's some of the God's will is different. There's some of the our destinies are different. You will not lose this celebration in your life. This anointing celebration will carry you for the rest of the year into 2019. If you are the one I am talking to, clap your hands and shout, I receive it. Somebody is going to deliver your scholarship, your wedding ring, your engagement ring. Can you run into your miracle and shout, I receive it 3 times?
The poverty, it is enough.
Come on.
The sickness, it is enough.
Yes.
The failures are enough.
Yes.
You shall return with glory. You shall return with promotion. You shall return with a scholarship. Your level will change from the back to the front. Who am I prophesying to?
I am the one.
Clap your hand and shout, I am the one.
I am the one. There are 3 types of expectations that are contending with you. The most difficult and the most stubborn one is the expectation of evil people. There is the expectation of the person, and then the third expectation that you have also ignored is called divine expectation. There is a God who created you, who has a plan for your life,
Unfortunately, when you are taking decisions, you leave that God out. Come 2018.